Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
That's right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the General Admission Wrestling Podcast Throwback. I am Avenging Ben.
I'm Whole Milk Mike.
And with us is the third man. It's Ray Mundo.
I'm back.
Oh, you're back so much you can stop saying you're back.
I keep getting fired though, so it's like I have to keep saying.
Who keeps firing you?
And welcome, one and all, to the General Admission Wrestling Podcast YouTube page.
Wait, we're on YouTube?
We are on
Yes.
YouTube. We are on the YouTubes right now. If you don't know, we have recently acquired a YouTube page, and we're from a very charitable source. And we are going to be, and this is our inaugural first YouTube exclusive video for you guys. Of course, it will still be available on the iTunes for your downloading pleasure. But as far as YouTube, this is our first real post, other than our Cody Rhodes parody video, which got copyright flagged within 5 minutes.
Way to go, Ben.
Hey, no, I'm not the one that fucking edited it, okay? In fact, my part of that video was the one part that shouldn't have been copyrighted because it was my fucking announcing.
You should have asked me first. God.
God damn it, okay. What makes you think you know so much about the law? Oh, yeah, right, you're a lawyer. I forgot. Sorry. Ridiculous. Anyway, so for those not in the know, this is not for those of you who are new to this is not our typical format. We typically do a live or off-the-air show every week in which we just talk about wrestling news, review the current product, talk about predictions for upcoming shows. But the throwback shows are where we take a look at an old pay-per-view from either WWE, WCW, ECW, or maybe just a failed indie promotion or something of the like, and we just talk about it. If you were not here,
shoot the ship, basically.
Shoot the ship, basically. If you weren't here for the last one, back in January, we did an episode just to test the waters. We did an episode about Royal Rumble 2007,
We enjoyed it.
And we enjoyed a pay-per-view that we really enjoyed. We hadn't seen it in a while, but we really enjoyed. This episode, however, we decided to take some suggestions from you guys, the GAWP audience. And boy, did you guys come up with some good choices. And we all agreed to go with the first one that appeared on the feed. And thank you to my friend from Queens College, Zachary Morrissey, for recommending the show. And of course,
Why?
Why, Zach? Why?
Thank you, Zach, but you stole 2 hours of our lives.
Getting 3 hours.
Ray, hold me.
Come over here, Mike.
Mike, tell the nice people at home what show we will be talking about today.
WCW Bash at the Beach 2000.
Oh, God, my ears are bleeding just from hearing the name.
The famous one. The Vince Russo shoot.
Yeah.
This is the year Vince Russo killed WCW.
Oh, God. This is... Okay, where to start? We had a lot of ideas for throwback episodes, and we just thought putting it out to the audience would be, they won't recommend anything too horrible for us to look at. What are they going to recommend us?
First thing, Bash at the Beach. Me, Ben. Fuck.
And then they decide to invite me along, so fuck you guys for that.
Yeah, because if we're going to enjoy... If we have to sit down and spend 2 hours of our lives watching a bullshit WCW pay-per-view, you're joining with us, buddy.
It's just like, if we're going down, we're taking all you bastards with us. And you as well, who are listening to this. So strap in, kids. We got a lot to get to.
Yeah, you're going to listen to every single word we say about this shitty pay-per-view.
And if you've never heard of a WCW or a review for a WCW pay-per-view, put your socks on and just enjoy.
Yeah, strap in, get some popcorn, grab a nice fizzy beverage, and get ready for this shit.
No, get a strong beverage, because you're going to need it.
Mix yourself a strong rum and coke or a nice soda and vodka, and get ready, because this is GAWP Throwback, WCW Bash at the Beach 2000. First of all, from the get-go, I knew we were in trouble with the show, because just, like, I was looking at the intro that they were using for this, and I was just like, oh yeah, this was 2000. I could tell immediately. I could tell this was the year 2000.
Right.
They were using just like that kind of guitar grunge kind of feel for like the music.
I really didn't even notice like the video package, like the quality of it. I just noticed like they were showing the two main events, which was Nash and Goldberg, and then Jarrett and Hogan. And the only thing that was popping up, like anything description that they put, Scott Hall's contract. And I'm just like, Jesus.
It's a contract or a title. That was the only thing in the intro. It's like, okay, we only have 2 matches tonight. Yeah.
Out of the two things, that's the one they promoted the most.
Yeah, and they just kept doing this over and over again. It's like, so although I'm going to be jumping in a lot tonight, I am really going to leave this up to you two. I watched the whole thing. I definitely have thoughts, but like you two, especially you, Mike, know a lot more about the lay of the land of WCW back during this era than I do. So, Mike, how about you?
Because I'm the only one out of the three of us that actually goes on the network and watches WCW.
Yeah,
I watch everything else.
And
WCW,
if you,
not so much.
Yeah, so
I watch the NWO stuff. Everything else, thanks.
Yeah.
My project right now is going to be going back and binging ECW on the network. So I'll get back to you on that one. But yeah, Mike, so can you set the stage for us? What was going on going into this pay-per-view? Why was WCW in the dire straits that it was going into the show?
Here we go. Strap on, people.
3 simple letters. NWO. From 1998 to 1999, the NWO was killing WWF in the ratings until Austin and Mike Tyson had this shoving match, and then WWF started to get an edge. The NWO,
the Attitude Era.
Right. And meanwhile, the NWO did the one thing that was wrong in the whole scheme of what they were doing. They kept adding people. Every week, the cameraman, an announcer, a referee, and 5 wrestlers would join the NWO in the span of like a fucking day. And because of that, then around 99, when Kevin Nash beat Goldberg, then we'll get to that match later on, but that was what led to the match that we're going to review. But in a controversial fashion on Monday Nitro, the finger poke of doom.
Oh my God. Even if you have never watched a WCW anything, you've heard of the finger poke of doom.
Right. And if you don't know what it is, it was a match. Well, you can't even call it a fucking match. In Atlanta, Georgia.
It was a segment.
In Atlanta, Georgia, Goldberg's hometown, where he won the WCW World Title. Kevin Nash versus Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan pokes him in the chest. Nash faints, covers him. Hogan is your world champion. Big fucking whoop. That's where the spiral starts to go downward.
Yeah, you could tell. For those, so should we explain to the people at home who Vince Russo is?
No, if they don't know who Vince Russo is, why are you watching this show?
I think Ben could give an accurate description of Vince Russo.
For those not in the know, and fuck, if you're on the internet, how could you not be? Vince, if you've heard the name, you've probably heard the name Vince Russo in casual conversation, but you don't exactly know who he is. For those who are not informed, Vince Russo was the head writer back in WWF in the early to late 90s. Early to mid 90s, and then he jumped. What year did he jump ship to WCW? Around like
98.
98. So he was from most of the 90s. This was the writer for most of the Attitude Era and a lot of WCW. The funny thing about Vince Russo is, no matter what you can say about him, the dude has at least 3 or 4 really good storylines under his belt, but he's milked those for his entire career. Because the funny thing about Vince Russo is a majority of what this dude put out was garbage. Yes, you can thank him for probably the Ministry storyline, DX, maybe the Austin McMahon storyline, Rock joining the Federation. corporation. Yeah, you can probably thank him. He had a hand in all that stuff, but here's a list of other things you can thank Vince Russo for. Mae Young giving birth to a hand.
The idea of putting the world title on China.
But it didn't happen, though.
See what else we got here.
That's what I said.
Let's see. Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe in an evening gown match.
No, that wasn't him.
Well, that wasn't him?
No. Remember, he joined 98.
Oh, yeah.
In 2000, that was another schmuck.
Okay, I have a list here.
Yeah, but he probably left that idea written out. So it's like
Mark Henry falling in love with a transvestite.
Right.
Pole matches. A lot of pole matches.
Terry Runnels having a miscarriage on TV.
If you haven't been in the know here, he also worked for TNA and came up with such ideas as a lockbox challenge, a last rites match, more pole matches, a reverse battle royal, poles everywhere, and of course his crowning jewel, making David Arquette WCW heavyweight champion.
Funny enough, this was 2 months after this pay-per-view was 2 months after that.
And if you're wondering why we're talking about one of the head writers of a wrestling show so much, well, what's the big deal, you may be asking? It's not like he's like a character on the show. Yes, he is. This dude.
A writer was a character on TV.
And he plays a significant role in this show.
We'll get to him.
Step on, people.
Now that we've set the stage, we've set the groundwork, let us dive into this dumpster fire of a show. Mike, let's start off with the first match. Mike, set it up.
But before we get to that, so the video package plays, and then we cut backstage to a big black man. I had to look this up. He was named Ice Train. Fun. He opened the limo door, and Ernest the Cat Miller was in there. You guys remember him, right? Royal Rumble 2004? He danced like a moron?
No.
Okay, then. So, in storyline, he's the commissioner. So he comes out, and he says that the first match for the Cruiserweight title, Misfits in Action and Filthy Animals are banned from ringside. All of a sudden,
that works.
All of a sudden, we see Kaz Hayashi, Jimmy Wang Yang, and Jamie Noble in a mask about to attack him. And meanwhile...
No, we didn't know it was Jamie Noble. Remember, no one knew.
No, it was fun. They called him Jamie-san. Is that a fucking
it's
bigger
Jamie-san.
hint?
It's Jamie-san.
That's not a bigger fucking hint if I can say
no. Admit what he says. The moment the fucking theme plays, he says, "Wait, did you leave the radio on?" Then you just hear, "Hi!" I'm like, "Wow."
Yeah, and meanwhile, during all this, they're outside, and the fans are just looking at this, no reaction, just like, what the fuck am I looking at? So
Ernest the Cat Miller is about to kick ass.
So basically, he beats them up, and then the actual pay-per-view starts. The opening contest for WCW Bash at the Beach 2000 is something that a dear friend Hipster is a fan of. Juventud Guerrero challenging. Now, I shit you not. Chavo Guerrero, in the year 2000, they changed his name to Lieutenant Loco.
See. Oh, hold on.
I think Ben has committed suicide.
Not this early into the episode. Not this early. Keep going.
Later on.
So, and remember the opening thing of the pay-per-view. Their factions were banned. And guess what happens? They still show up.
Yep.
They show up. Conan does his thing. He's supposed to be a heel, but fuck it. So they go into the back, and then Juventud and Chavo Guerrero have a good lucha match.
Say whatever you will about the show. These two put on an actually pretty good match.
It was a great cruiserweight match.
Not the worst, just okay.
And
they're still Chavo Guerrero and Juventud, so they have to do something, right? I would hope.
Juventud Guerrero was at his best around this time, and Chavo Guerrero was starting to get into the best years of his career. Because if you think about it, 2017 Chavo Guerrero sucks, but 2000 to 2004 Chavo, awesome.
Oh yeah.
Wait, he doesn't. Whatever. Wait, Mike, you forgot to mention though.
In my opinion,
during that intro segment, Rey Mysterio and Conan are heels. They're getting face pops.
Correct.
They're getting cheered by the fans.
And Disco Inferno's in there.
Trying to be hip.
Yep.
Russo.
So they have a good match, and then we get to bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit number one. Misfits
you didn't like it? You didn't like the heart?
No, this is what happened. So you had the Filthy Animals come out in masks. And what kind of mask were they wearing? Conan was wearing a George Bush mask.
Can you tell that this was the year? Can you tell this was the year 2000 yet?
Right. And then we all wrote notes for this. I wrote Conan wearing a political mask. The irony.
Yeah. I wrote. Here are the notes I wrote. Masked people. Wait a minute. What the fuck is going on here? More masked people? Question mark. What the fuck is going on?
I wrote. So they unmask Ray, but have him
put
wear
a mask
another
back
mask.
on him.
Okay, this makes sense.
So
I get it.
I don't get it.
John reference number one.
Yeah.
So
don't sue us, YouTube.
once Filthy Animals get kicked back into the locker room, MIA show up in weird animal masks, and then we see Major Guns, who is Tyleen Buck.
Get it? Major Guns.
Because she has big tits.
No, I don't think you get it. Major Guns. Get it? Because guns can also mean ammunition and firearms, but it can also mean large bosoms. Get it?
I don't get it.
So she takes her shirt off for the distraction, and then Chavo gets the pin, and he retains his title.
Oh, yeah, women being demeaned. Yeah, get used to that being a running factor in this show.
Fun fact, Tyleen Buck, who is Major Guns, does porn.
Oh,
get
so she used her tits.
Hey, hold on.
And now
Get your mouse out of that Google search box. Wait until the show is done, then go watch porn. Bastards.
As Ben is looking up Tyleen Buck right now.
That's what he's up. He's like, mute.
Tyleen Buck.
Yeah, but
so
overall, not a bad opener. Was okay. And Lieutenant Loco, Chavo Guerrero, gets the win in 12:09.
You timed the match?
Wow.
I'm looking at the timestamps right here. They're right in front of me.
See? Ben's professional.
By the way, can I just say the sad state of the WCW Wikipedia page? Each pay-per-view doesn't even have its own page. It's just a list of 7 Bash at the Beaches, just all in quick succession.
Good.
What did you think? A person's going to actually write them all down? I would feel bad for that person.
There's a sad bastard on the internet somewhere who probably did it.
You know what? I think the guy that originally started writing the Bash at the Beach Wikipedia died, and then like whoever saw it was like, "Oh, it's not finished. Let me just keep adding the rest of them." And then he died, and then it was like a fucking train. Just keep going and going. Didn't even put a timestamp.
Wait a second.
Apparently,
it's bad luck to write about that. Wait, should we stop this recording now?
Nah, we've lived long lives.
Okay.
Wait. Okay. I guess Ben is already happy because he's a 2-time GAWP champion, so he can die now. He can die happy.
So Ray, what'd you think of this match?
Like I said, it was a good cruiserweight match. Like you said, Chavo was in his prime. Juventud in WCW was doing the best at that time, so even to this day. So it's like, it was balanced, but the gimmicks kind of ruined it, I would say. Because in their Triple H style would have been great, but adding so many participants was like,
Yeah.
WCW, folks.
Right. So we
next
go from
up.
we go. Hold on, let me get this.
Someone speak.
So we go from this match to our second Ernest the Cat Miller segment. He's sitting down. He's on the phone. All of a sudden, my hero, Jeff Jarrett, walks in.
Slap nuts.
Yes.
Oh God. Here we go.
Comes in. Asks where Hulk Hogan is. I wrote, "Oh God, it's starting." And then I noticed, oh yeah, fat opera singer in the background.
And no,
Why?
her name, they keep calling her Screaming Mimi, and I wrote down in my notes here, who in the dribbling fuck is Screaming Mimi?
Well, Ben, she only lasted a month.
But who was she?
Just some random woman that worked for WCW.
Come on,
Oh,
Ben.
so-
Admit it. Screaming Mimi had something happening to your pee-pee.
Oh God.
I didn't even get a good look at her. I was too confused.
I think Ray just made a new shirt for us.
Screaming Mimi.
Touches your pay.
So then we go to match number 2. And
Mhm.
quite possibly the worst hardcore match I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Big Vito defends the title. Originally it was supposed to be Johnny the Bull, but he got hurt. So his replacement, Screaming Norman Smiley with Ralphus. Now if you're asking who the fuck is Ralph,
Ralphus. Wasn't Ralphus the guy with Jericho?
let me give you a little backstory on Ralphus. He was a WCW truck driver who brought the ring to every arena. They saw him and put him with Chris Jericho as his personal security.
Oh, I remember that.
Once Jericho left, they had nothing for him. So they put him with Screaming Norman. Now, what the fuck kind of match was this?
It was
Garbage.
Vito dominating.
Yeah, you want to know what's funny about Big Vito that I noticed? This is what I wrote down in my notes here. I said, why is his entrance theme pasta eating music?
Because he's Italian.
He's fat.
It's fat more like spaghetti, I guess.
Right.
Oh,
Hey,
God.
Mama da Boopy. We like to see
Scusi, Babidi Boopy.
Bobbity boopy bop. Family Guy reference. Please don't sue us.
Right. Well, Big Vito's suing WWE, remember? Concussions.
Oh, who isn't suing WWE right now?
But
The man with 3 H's needs to pick up the phone. We want to talk to him.
honestly, there's really nothing to discuss about this match. Ralphus was wearing a t-shirt that wasn't covering his belly. Great.
It never did. That was his gimmick. It never did.
Norman Smiley was wearing a hockey jersey with the number 69. Ha.
Oh, God.
Then Ralphus hits Vito with the worst trash can lid shots I've ever seen in my life.
Those are the ones that gave him the concussion. Why is he suing the WWE?
Right. Vito puts Norman in elevator and then chases Ralphus. Ralphus loses a fucking shoe taking a bump. Then, as Vito is setting Ralphus on the table, it breaks. And he still jumps off the top for a big splash. 1, 2, 3, it's over. Vito retains.
Yeah, this was a piece of shit.
Yep.
They're trying so hard to recreate what WWE was doing with the hardcore title at the exact same time.
Which was, oh, Jesus.
Which I'm not going to...
This compared to the WWF hardcore division, holy shit.
And may I remind you, that was a division where one of the Godfather's hoes once won the WWF hardcore title.
I think if we were around, we would have held the hardcore title.
Hell no.
Probably.
Okay, I guess you were
Speaking
held
of,
the hardcore title.
yeah, the WWE, this was not a good time to be a woman in the wrestling division. Speaking of which...
Before we get to that, there's 2 things I want to point out. Goldberg arrived to the arena with Scott Hall contract. Mean Gene interviews Kevin Nash, cuts a passionate promo while cursing. He says after tonight that the band is getting back together. Boo. Then we get Ben's wet dream.
Okay.
Daphne versus Miss Hancock in a wedding gown match.
Okay, no, this was not my wet dream. Not that the idea of Daphne in a see-through wedding dress does not please me, okay? I'm a dude that, yes, it does. That appeals to me. It's the fact that this was some of the most heinous bullshit I've ever seen in my life. If you're wondering why the women's revolution in WWE is such an important fucking thing, watch 4 minutes and 15 goddamn seconds of Daphne and some stripper lady who I've never heard of slamming cake in each other's face for 4 minutes.
Ben,
That's Stacy Keibler, isn't it?
yeah, it's Stacy Keibler.
Yes.
That's Stacy Keibler?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I didn't even recognize her.
Because you were probably staring at her ass, Ben.
Or
Well, that
Daphne.
In case you haven't, this match, okay, if you want to know the story of this match, and dear God, why would you? Daphne and David Flair, Ric Flair's kid, and
Yep.
Stacy Keibler are in a love triangle with each other, which, by the way, I laughed my ass off when the commentators said, this is such a heartbreaking story. What the fuck are you talking about?
You want to know why it was heartbreaking? Because David cheated on Daphne with Stacy.
Oh.
Because Daphne and David were getting ready to get married, and Stacy just came in and fucked that up.
Yeah.
So that's why this was a wedding gown match, to
How
symbolize
about
that.
some make-believe about musical instruments?
This was pretty friggin' stupid. And what perplexes the mind here, there was no fucking wrestling in this match. Literally, there was about 1 minute's worth of pushing and holds. And then there was just, these are my notes, okay? These are my notes for this entire match, okay?
Read them word for word.
Okay. Daphne, instant boner. David Flair, what the fuck is he doing here? What the fuck even is this music? I say for Stacy Keibler. Boobs, nut shot. Wow, Vince Russo really hates women.
Hi, Jane.
Ass, titties. Referee in his undies. David Flair in his undies.
I'm curious.
Wow, spot of the fucking year. Cue the Benny Hill music. More stripping. Hashtag give women a chance. Hashtag equality. Cake.
So me and Mike were correct on this gave Ben a boner.
I don't think it's going to happen.
First time Ben sees underwear. Yay!
It can happen.
You know what's funny is Ben didn't even mention the fact of how Daphne even won this, because the whole point of the match was to strip the wedding gown off your opponent.
No, she just stripped it off herself.
I'm getting to that. So she said, hit my music, and then she starts to dance, and all of a sudden she takes the skirt off. The bell rings, and I'm just thinking, are you fucking kidding me? But at the same time, I was like, thank God. Thank God they ended this shit. Also, I wrote down, Mark Madden on commentary called her a snoochie poochie.
A snoochie pooty?
A snoochie poochie.
Basically calling her a slut.
Yep.
Mark Madden, everybody.
So, let's review. This was quite possibly the most heinous goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life. And
Did you also gloss over the fact that Crowbar came out?
I don't know who the fuck Crowbar is.
He was
Really?
David Flair's partner.
Okay.
Crowbar is still wrestling till this day.
So Crowbar came out. He beat up David Flair.
Here's the problem. His name is Crowbar.
Yeah, and you want to know what weapon he uses? A
chair.
crowbar.
A chair? A fire extinguisher? A kendo stick? A cardboard box?
A table,
a
Ben.
lawn gnome? Table? A dildo?
Yeah,
Ben, that's not even the worst part.
Possibly.
Crowbar comes out, beats up David Flair, and then sees that they all have their pants down. So what does he do? Takes his pants off, too. And then takes them off.
Yeah.
Yes. Aww.
Yeah.
He's taking his pants off while recording.
Cake fight. Cake is everywhere. They take 5 minutes to clean up the fucking cake. And then we get another Ernest the Cat Miller segment with the fucking Young Dragons.
Yeah, they did. But by the third time this happened, I actually said out loud to myself, "Oh God, they're gonna be doing this the whole fucking show, aren't they?"
Oh, yes, they are. Also, announcers question if Hogan will be there. I put in big parentheses. It's fucking Hulk Hogan.
So yes, although we'll get to him in just a little bit, but before that, the next match on the show was for the WCW World Tag Team Championships. It was Chronic with 2 Ks, Brian Adams and Brian Clark versus the Perfect Event, Sean Stasiak and You Will Remember Me, Chuck Palumbo.
Ben, question: do you know what gimmicks they were doing at the time? Sean
Perfect
Stasiak and Chuck Palumbo.
I'm not. They were sort of doing They were sort of stealing like some like Mr. Perfect, Lex Luger type shit.
Correct.
Yay!
Like I was reading like an article about them during my watching of it, and like it said like there was a throwback to 80s and 90s gimmicks such as Luger and Mr. Perfect. And when I was looking at them, I was like, oh yeah, it kind of looks like that a little bit.
Sean Stasiak was going by the Perfect One, and Chuck Palumbo was doing
Exactly.
Chuck Palumbo was doing the Total Package gimmick.
Yep.
Wasn't Luger still in WCW at that time, though?
Correct, but that's Russo's thing because they were feuding with each other. That was Russo's way of putting the newer guys over by taking old gimmicks and putting them on new guys. Anyway, this tag match sucked. This was horrible. Chronic can't wrestle. Thank God.
Thank God what? Don't say. Don't.
I was gonna say something bad, and then I just fucking stopped myself.
This
is the first show on YouTube.
God! And what's even worse? This was the longest match on the show. Well, aside from the main event, this was the second longest match on the show, clocking in at almost 15 minutes.
Oh God.
And by the way, Chronic voted worst tag team by PW Insider in 2000.
Want to know why? Their name is Chronic with 2 Ks.
And not even that, they can't wrestle for shit.
No, I was watching like 2 minutes of this, and I was like, oh Jesus, this is objectively shit.
Okay, so I'm just going to jump to the finish because there's nothing to this fucking match. Chronic hits Stasiak with a double choke slam, and then one of the other fucking members of Chronic was just standing there while Palumbo just comes in and breaks up the pin.
Yep.
And then Chronic win. Boo. Nothing to say about this. Nothing positive at all.
Jindrak, we need the rest of the members.
This was objectively horseshit. I was bored through most of this match, and I was just like, good God, end this already. Just end it.
And Ben, you know what we cut to next? It's the Cat Miller.
And more of the fucking ninja.
But this time, Jeff Jarrett shows up. I scream, yay. Jarrett says he's going to ruin the show if Hogan doesn't come. Then, Young Dragons beat up the Cat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whoop-de-doo.
I forget, was Screaming Mimi in this segment?
No, just Jarrett.
Okay, because there was this bit where he's like, Hulk Hogan's not here, and he's keeping Screaming Mimi waiting, and I'm like, who the fuck is Screaming Mimi?
Come on, Ben. You were happy to see Screaming Mimi.
Who the fuck is
and made you want to touch your baby.
Who is Screaming Mimi? Why does she want to? I don't even know. Next match. No.
Oh,
next match. Canyon,
carry on, Mike. Look.
Positively Canyon, who's dressed up as DDP, versus Booker T.
Oh yeah, he was stealing DDP's gimmick at this point.
Right. So
didn't they become a tag team later on, though?
No, before this. What happened months prior to this was Canyon turned heel on his friend DDP, and then took his gimmick once DDP in storyline quit.
Oh, yeah.
And DDP had a book around this time, so Canyon had his own book. And Booker T went to the book signing and beat the shit out of Canyon for no fucking reason.
Because Booker T likes DDP. That's why.
I guess. 2 seconds into the match, the wig falls off.
Yep.
Fucking hell. You couldn't just dye your hair?
Oh, what fresh
Continuity, folks.
Oh,
Continuity.
what fresh hell is this?
So Booker grabs the book, and all of a sudden a fucking brick comes out of the book. Okay. You just killed the spot. But whatever. It was a good match. All of a sudden, Jarrett lives up to his promise. He comes out, hits Booker with the fucking guitar, never drew a dime, and then Canyon hits his cutter, and he gets the win. Foreshadowing what's to come in the main event with Booker and Jarrett.
But we'll get to that when we get to it. So that was a match.
Don't mention that, Mike.
Next up, we have...
Hold on. Before we get to the match...
Oh, God, Let me guess.
No, it wasn't the cat. Mike Awesome, who flirts with the fat women. Screaming Mimi.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Then cuts a promo in an interview with a hot woman named Pamela. Basically, in the promo, he said, I'm going to beat up Scott Steiner, and then I'm going to please all the fat women across the world.
Yeah, that was the gimmick he left ECW for.
Hey, he got
idea,
paid.
Mike.
When he went to WCW, he got paid. ECW wasn't fucking paying him.
Yeah.
I still would have watched ECW.
Match number 6, Battle of the Bulls. Scott Steiner versus Mike Awesome for the United States Heavyweight Championship. This was, I don't know.
It was interesting.
It was all right. It was just a brawl. These two immediately went into the crowd, beating the shit out of each other. And then Mike Awesome uses a steel chair. No DQ, I guess.
So, the funny thing, though, is, whenever I think of Mike Awesome, I just keep thinking about... We may have to talk about One Night Stand 2005 on this show at some point, because, I will never hear something on commentary more awkward than Joey Styles talking about how he wants Mike Awesome dead.
Suicide dive by Mike Awesome! Too bad he wasn't successful.
Mike Awesome, he actually commits suicide.
Mike Awesome killed himself. That is quite literally. And by the way, if we're talking about Scott Steiner, it's fucking Scott Steiner. You gotta talk about his fucking math promo. How does that shit go again? If I got a 33% chance and he's got a 33% chance, I got a 38%. Mike, well, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I remember watching that live and laughing my goddamn ass off. I was like, what did he just say? But if we're going back to 2000, Scott Steiner, my God, his physique was ridiculous in 2000.
And he can actually cut a promo.
Right.
Speaking of Scott Steiner, he's back in Impact, just so people can know.
Boo. So we get to the finish.
Was Scott Steiner ever a good wrestler? I will never understand his appeal.
He was a good collegian, and he was good when he was with Wreck. After that...
But the thing was, once he started getting, he started lifting, and, he got the physique he got, he wasn't able to move around as fast as he could, and wasn't able to do the stuff he used to do.
The suplexes were good, but everything else was it was falling.
He almost killed people. That was his problem.
Yeah, the Steiner screwdriver was kind of scary.
So to replace that, he incorporated a Steiner recliner. But then Ernest, the Cat Miller, shows up.
God damn it.
He grabs the mic, tells Scott, if you put that on, I'm vacating the title and taking it away from you. Steiner says, fuck you. Puts it on, the bell rings, and you think, Awesome's the champion? Nope. Title is vacated. And the Cat runs away.
God.
And Scott Steiner
Doesn't the Cat become U.S. champ later on?
No, Lance Storm.
No, I'm saying later on in WCW.
No,
I know he held it once.
No, I don't think he ever held the U.S. title.
Oh god.
He held the TV title, but not the U.S.
Oh, that's the title I'm thinking of. WCW had too
So
many times.
that parade of bullshit happens, and then
Then we get to House of Horrors 1.0.
Yeah, okay, we'll probably end up. Let's not blow the load on talking about House of Horrors now.
I know. Yeah, I know.
We're going to save that. If you want to hear our full thoughts on Payback and the House of Horrors match, you can tune in for like the unless you're listening to this after the fact, but like if you're listening right now or before this happens, we're going to be going live on Facebook tomorrow night. We'll talk about Payback then
for episode 30.
This was actually way more entertaining than the House of Horrors match.
Vampiro versus the Kiss Demon. Graveyard match. The only way to win this match is to beat up your opponent and then make your way back to the arena.
Although, funny story. Let's see here. Apparently, it is debuted that the Kiss concert that they used to debut the Kiss Demon was one of the lowest rated segments in the history of Nitro up to that point, and even though Bischoff believed in the character, others believed it was dead on arrival.
Right. And remember how they promoted him? They promoted him as a main eventer.
Yep. They had big plans for this dude.
So he was supposed to be something because even Gene Simmons, the whole Kiss actually approved of it. So it's like, okay, they can do something.
This is how ridiculous WCW was. Say the Demon was opening the show, they would still call it a main event.
Yep.
Because they had stock in it.
That's how much money they put into this gimmick. Now, I'm not hating the guy Dale Torborg portraying the Demon, but god damn it, this was horrible.
If this was an actual match, it would have been just kind of boring. I like Vampiro just fine, but like this was two kids playing in their backyard for 5 minutes.
So the Demon shows up with his fiancée Asia. He tells Charles Robinson to look after her, even though she has bigger muscles than him. Okay. Then Vampiro jumps out of tree.
Yep.
And this is where the bullshit starts.
Oh, this is where the bullshit starts.
So this whole match is happening, but this is where it starts.
This is where I wrote, this is no Grave Consequences or a Cero Miedo match. Not even close.
Cero Miedo? What the hell? What?
Oh, that's in Lucha.
That should not it should not be in the same sentence. That's what I'm saying.
No, but that's what I wrote. This match that I'm watching right now is no Grave Consequences or Pentagon Vampiro match. Not even close.
Oh, God.
So they go. This was funny. This was fucking hilarious. So Vampiro kidnaps Asia. The Demon chases after them. He finds her weeping by a lake. All of a sudden, Vampiro jumps out of the fucking lake like Jason Voorhees, grabs him, and then the goddamn Demon almost drowns. Yeah. I was laughing my ass off.
This was some trash bag bullshit. I was laughing so goddamn hard.
Then Charles Robinson had to jump in the lake and get the Demon and save him.
Why do I feel like that wasn't a word?
That wasn't planned.
Actually
that was not planned.
I feel like the poor guy was actually choking. He's like, I hope I don't die on this.
Can you imagine if that's how you died? He lived as he died. He died in a graveyard match.
So.
Yeah.
So Vampiro runs away again. Then they go to a casket. Pops out of the casket. Spits blood in the face of the Demon. Then puts him in the casket. Throws the casket into an open grave. And then throws dirt on him. Match over? Not yet. Then we cut back to the arena. And you're thinking, wait, what?
Match over.
Cut back to the arena. To Shane Douglas cutting an interview about Buff Bagwell. When I saw Shane Douglas, I was like, yes. Thank God. Somebody that can wrestle. And then we get to my second best match of the night. Buff Bagwell versus the Franchise. Not Shane Douglas. They just called them the Franchise. WCW, everybody.
And I doubt ECW actually had a copyright on it, so
I guess.
They can't use Shane Douglas.
So Buff Bagwell makes his entrance. Women in the arena scream in joy. Buff was pretty over in 2000.
Yep.
You gotta admit.
Yeah.
Because there was one segment once, like the simulcast of Nitro and Raw, and then Vince was like, I'm going to say a bunch of WCW names, and you tell me if you want them. And when he said Buff, he got a loud reaction.
Are they sure they just didn't want to see Judy Bagwell? Former WCW Tag Team Champion Judy Bagwell?
Oh, Jesus Christ. So,
yes, folks, WCW.
And if you're wondering, why are these two having a match? Well, they were former tag team champions. Then Buff got suspended for doing drugs. Then Douglas gets pissed off at him for doing said drugs. And then Buff comes back and beats the shit out of him. Buff is face, franchise is heel. What the fuck?
Do drugs, kids. You get over.
Yep. Anything like you guys jump in if you have anything to say about this. Buff and Shane Douglas.
So that's the funny thing about this, though. Like, I know so little about these two. I'm just like, who? Buff Bagwell. He's buff.
Yeah, you got his gimmick.
He's buff and he's the stuff.
He's buff. He's the stuff, and I couldn't have given a shit. This was okay. This was the point in this show where I realized, wow, this is the sad state of WCW at this time. That this is what.
No, that was actually a good match though. It's Shane Douglas. It's a guy. If you grew up on ECW,
this kind of shows the sad state of WCW at the time. That this is one of the best matches on the show.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, it wasn't that bad compared to other stuff.
Right. And guess what? Bullshit happens.
Swerve.
I didn't want to bring it up.
You just got swerved, bro. You just got swerved.
So, you're probably wondering, what bullshit happened in this match? Tori Wilson comes out, looking hot as all hell. Slaps Shane Douglas. You think she's with Buff. Then she helps the franchise win by hitting a low blow on Buff Bagwell. Then Shane Douglas performing the worst roll-up pin I've ever seen in my life. I don't know what the fuck that was. But he won. And then Mark Madden on commentary goes, Tori Wilson's ass just got franchised.
Wow.
Swerve!
What a swerve. So that happened.
How long was this match, Ben?
This match was 8 minutes long.
Oh, I thought that when I was watching it seemed longer.
So good.
But the next match on the show was very short.
Jeff Jarrett, interview with Mean Gene, calls him a Jurassic slap ass. I laughed.
Poor Mean Gene.
Jarrett says he's going to beat up Hogan. Oh, God, how wrong you are.
So.
Match number 9. Hollywood, Hulk Hogan shows up. No shocker. Versus Jeff Jarrett for the WCW World Heavyweight title. And I wrote in all caps, oh, God, here we go. Bullshit.
Okay.
Give the backstory of
this is the reason I think a lot of people want us to talk about this show. Without this moment, this would just be another dime a dozen WCW pay-per-view. But this little bit of fuckery that they decided to pull just puts it into infamy. For those not in the know, Hulk Hogan and WCW were probably not on the best of terms at this point.
Hulk Hogan had 100% creative in his contract. So whatever his matches, he could determine finishes, how his character was going to go. So basically, he booked himself to win.
Yep.
And that's what we lead to tonight. So, Ben, I think you're better at describing what the fuck happened here.
So I had heard of this, but I had never seen it. First of all, Vince Russo comes down, and you're wondering, well, why the fuck is Vince Russo there? You wonder why we gave that little spiel about him earlier. Here's where it all comes together. He's at ringside. And then Jeff Jarrett comes down. And then off camera, you can kind of see them near each other. You can kind of see him kind of say something to Jarrett, and you're like, well, what the hell is going on there? Yes. And then Hulk Hogan comes down. Hulk Hogan comes down. You could be, your house could blow up and your dog could die, and you would not have the more disenfranchised, depressed, dead fish look than how Hulk Hogan looked going into this match. He did not want to be there.
He wanted to be there.
But I feel like just Hulk Hogan, the look on his face when what happens. Okay, announcer does his thing.
God,
he was acting, Ben.
The bell rings.
Right.
They go for the grapple. Jeff Jarrett immediately lays down on his back. And Hulk Hogan's looking at this like, what the fuck are you doing?
Get up.
Get up. And Jarrett's like, nope. And then Russo hops on the ring apron and says, well, you want your championship, right? Pin him. You want your belt. He literally takes the championship and he's waving it at him. He's not even holding it.
This is yours. It's yours. Just pin him.
And then fucking Hulk Hogan just looks like, Jesus fucking Christ. He reaches for a mic. He reaches for a...
Do it in your best Hulk Hogan impression.
I'll try my best. Keep in mind, this is not like the overly cartoony Hulk Hogan from the 80s. This is more Terry Bollea's actual pissed off voice. So let me see what I can do here.
Oh, here we go.
Can't believe what you're fucking Russo. Can't believe this shit. It's bullshit like this. It's bullshit like this. It's why this company is in the state it's in. Bullshit like this.
And then the crowd cheer.
And then the
crowd cheered.
For the irony of this segment being this is what Hogan basically did for years.
Back to 85.
Not saying before the WCW days. I'm just saying right there, this is what he would do. So it was ironic that now he complains about it, which later we found out it was actually a shoot segment. But at that point, you're actually thinking, oh shit, this is real.
And then Hulk Hogan puts his foot on Jeff Jarrett. The ref counts 3, and Vince Russo just throws the belt at him. Hulk Hogan walks up the ramp. No, Jeff Jarrett immediately gets up, follows Russo up the ramp. Hulk Hogan leaves, never to return to WCW. This was the final appearance of Hulk Hogan in WCW.
Until WWF buys WCW.
Yeah. So let's fucking review, shall we?
Let's recap.
Let's recap all the craziness that we just went through. And again, for all those that are still listening, thank you. Because I know a lot of you are now dead inside.
I know a lot of you are now... You ever heard that joke from that Adam Sandler movie? Wow. Everybody who is listening to this is now dumber for having heard this.
Right.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. It's just no, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna quote this verbatim. Hang on, just a second here. Oh my God, this was one of the stupidest goddamn things I have ever fucking seen. Okay, Vince Russo, what you have just written is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever seen on a wrestling show. And no points in your rambling, incoherent storyline were you even close to anything that would be even considered a rational or entertaining bit. Everybody in this arena is now dumber for having seen it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
we're getting blocked.
No,
We
fuck
don't care.
Fuck you, Vince Russo. Fuck
You know
that
what?
asshole.
Wait. You know what?
Seriously, I've been holding this in for fucking hour. Fuck this.
Wait.
Taxi driver sounding,
Wait,
New York
Ben.
Mike. Ben is broken.
I want
Fuck
Ben
this
to,
guy, man.
I want Ben to hold it in until we get to the actual promo Vince Russo cuts. But Ray, what was your thoughts on watching this? Like you obviously heard of it, but what was like your reaction watching it for the first time, or probably like
Okay, the first
many
time I ever
times?
saw this, I remember I think I was like 6 on old WWE
Jesus.
24/7. That was the first time I saw this.
Oh Jesus.
And as a kid,
I'm
thinking
so sorry.
Yeah, I got screwed up by a child. Yeah. So first time I saw it, I'm thinking to myself, what happened to Hulk Hogan? Why is he cursing? Why is he cursing?
Why is the American hero cursing at other people? What is
So
this?
I'm a kid at that point, and I'm like, what the hell? Why did he lay
just
down?
Did he just say bullshit?
So then, after the years, watching it over, hearing how horrible Vince Russo is, I'm like, I get it now. But then...
I don't get it.
No, I actually get it. Why that segment actually happened. Now, rewatching it thanks to... Who told us to watch the pay-per-view?
Zach.
Okay, Zach.
God damn it,
you.
Zach.
Thank you, Zach, to make us relive this horrible nightmare. So, watching it now, thinking, okay, Hogan did this to Hogan. Not to steal what Vince said to Brett, but he basically booked himself into this wall.
Right.
So it's like, okay, now you're going to have to get fucked in front of a crowd, and now you're going to have to take the win and just pin Jarrett. Now, if Hogan didn't want to do this, he could have done the easiest thing. Pull what Kane did to Seth Rollins. Lay down next to him, force Jarrett to pin you. 1, 2, 3.
That's even worse. That's even a worse idea.
No, it wouldn't have, because that's how you screw Vince if this wasn't an actual planned segment. If this was a shoot, I wouldn't have won the match. But of course, we find out later on, he was going to do this. He was going to do this. But
Hogan.
The segment changed up, and we never see Hulk Hogan again. Until the Real American comes back and NWO comes to the WWE with Poison later on. Yeah.
Hey, maybe one day we'll talk about the NWO and the WWE.
Who knows?
Maybe. But before we get to the Russo thing,
No Way Out 2002? Is that next?
No. Not yet. Maybe WrestleMania 8.
Can we have a good pay-per-view first? Let's go to Barely Legal.
Oh, that's next.
97. Let's go to there, please.
That's next.
Oh, we have plans for that episode.
That's the one we need to watch, because damn.
But before Ben goes back on his tangent about the whole Vince Russo thing, a few things happened. After this, Hogan walks up the ramp. They cut to Tony Schiavone, Mark Madden, and Scott Hudson, who completely broke kayfabe in that moment. It was like all the storyline, all the promos building up to this. What the hell? So they
even mentioned there's a production meeting, like, stop exposing the business.
But they don't care.
Don't
care. So then, as Hulk Hogan walks out of the building with the title, Vampiro shows up.
He wins.
Right. Vampiro comes to the ring, cuts a promo on Sting, because they were feuding at the time. And then Sting does his best impression of The Undertaker, having druids come out with Sting masks. All of a sudden, I think Sting, who was in the casket, fucking pops out with a mask on, which makes it look even dumber. Beats up Vampire with a bat, puts him in the coffin, and then they all just disappear. Undertaker. WCW version.
The match that never happened. God.
Any comments about this? Did you guys like Vampiro?
I do.
I've always been a fan of Vampiro. This kind of makes you think,
wrestler,
why?
Okay, the wrestler or the announcer that we have now?
No. I was actually a fan of the wrestler. When he was in the Indies, he did okay. Even seeing him in not ICW, JCW, the Juggalo Championship Wrestling. That was funny.
Right.
But it was like Vampiro. He could have been something better. I don't know. Maybe WWE budget could have done something for him.
Because the character is good. It's unique.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. What would have happened if WWE would have signed him? Imagine with a WWE budget, what Vampiro could have become.
Yep. So that's over with. So Vampiro feuds with Sting. Not. That's not what happens after this. This was the blow off.
Just don't mention anymore. Fans don't need to know what happened.
So we cut to Mean Gene. Got it.
Again. Mean Gene, please. We need you. We don't need Tom Phillips. We need you.
God damn it. I miss Mean Gene doing this. Interviews Goldberg. Goldberg is a heel. I'm still confused.
What?
That's what I wrote. I'm still confused. Goldberg says he's going to make Nash suffer and end Scott Hall's WCW career. And I put in big parentheses, it was already over. He hasn't showed up in a fucking year. That's what happened. That's what literally happened. Scott Hall was getting paid shitloads of money, and he no-showed a bunch of WCW Nitros. Just stopped.
Was he injured, or was he just not
no-show? Okay. He was drinking at the time, but when he wasn't, he could have went to work. He decided not to. Sit on his ass, get paid, and just fucking do nothing.
Oh, wait, and they still had guaranteed contracts, so, yeah.
Because this was WCW. They gave those three, Hogan, Nash, and Hall, the guaranteed contracts.
So they have to pay them.
So Goldberg finishes his interview, and then we get the Vince Russo promo. The famous, fuck you, bald-headed Hogan promo. Ben, do you have any more comments to say about Russo? Do you want to summarize what he said in this promo?
I think you could do a better job than me. I think I was just so blinded at this point. Tell them what they said. No, then I'll get into it.
So he comes out, and he portrays himself as a hero. In which Ben screams at his TV, "No, you're not.
No, you're fucking not."
The end is nigh.
No, not yet.
So Russo says he left in '99, which is true, because he was sick of the bullshit and the politics. Mm-hmm. Then he came back for guys like Booker T, Jeff Jarrett, Mike Awesome, and those other guys. And then he brings up Hogan.
Here we go.
So he calls him a bald-headed son of a bitch who politics his way into winning what he wants, and what Hogan wants, he gets. Then he books Booker T versus Jeff Jarrett for the WCW World Title tonight in the main event. In that moment, you're like, wait, another title match?
Really?
Fine.
Okay.
Booker T, Jeff Jarrett, fine. And then he just throws the mic and he says, "I'm sick of this shit." Then leaves.
Wrestling, folks.
Wrestling.
Right.
Oh, God.
2017.
Any final comments about this before we move on?
2017. Why are we still paying this idiot any attention? There is not a week that goes by I don't see on the Wrestling News Group or PW Insider or even something that scrolls across my feed. It's like, Vince Russo says this. Vince Russo says this stupid shit. Vince Russo does this. Vince Russo says he doesn't like this. Vince Russo said he could kick Finn Balor's ass. Vince Russo said that Jack Gallagher isn't fucking good. Vince Russo said this. Vince Russo said that. Who the fuck is Vince Russo to say anything? Who even is he? He's a shitty writer from a promotion that failed. He was a writer on a promotion that's been seen as a joke for the past decade. He has maybe 1-2 decent storylines to his name, and that was probably because he was working with a team of more creative and better people at the time. The dude is a hack fraud, and he has the balls to say that he could do it better, or he could do anything better at this stage of the game. No, you fucking couldn't, you insufferable dickweed. Stop polluting the modern wrestling world with your outdated, idiotic ideas. The way you think it works is not how it fucking works anymore. The wrestling world would be a better place without you polluting it with your stupid ideas and your opinions. You have the right to say whatever you want, but it doesn't mean we have to buy into it. Fuck you, Vince Russo. Fuck you.
Damn.
Ray, any final comments about Russo? More specifically at the promo?
How do I follow that?
Next match.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, it's weird because at the same time, it's like Vince isn't lying. Like, he basically exploited what was going on at that time. But people knew that already. So it's kind of like
the dirt sheets was out there.
Yeah, it's like you can't come off as the hero. You're basically just the one to take the paycheck. And you know what? Let me just exploit everything right now. It's like you're not the hero. You're just the writer that decided, you know what? Here's what I wrote. Here you go. Here's my project. Like, you're not the hero in this sense. Nowadays, you're doing the same shit. You're basically giving your opinion, and you know what? Everyone needs to see it. So it's like, Russo, we get it. You did something back in the day. I respect his opinion back then that he at least had something to do with wrestling. Now, it's like, you're doing what we do. You do a podcast. Shut up, though. Just, like, what the hell? It's like, we're three teenagers. We're three guys that are like, okay, we'll do the podcast. We'll do that. We'll give our opinion. But you don't see us pointing an agenda, though. Stop, Russo. You're not getting hired by TNA. Even Impact is not going to pick you up. WWE is definitely not going to listen to you anymore. Just shut the hell up.
This Vince McMahon basically ignores his emails.
Oh, God. Has he even been on an indie show in recent years?
No.
God.
Fun fact, Ben. He was almost considered a writer for Lucha Underground.
No.
Oh, fuck off.
He was considered. He was considered.
Why do people keep working with him?
Because he probably cheats.
No, at this stage of the game, listen, okay, I'm talking to the audience. If you are a promoter with a potential TV deal, and you are even moderately considering hiring this chuckle nut, go chop off your own dick.
Never gonna let us have a podcast now. Okay.
You know what? Actually, how about use that spot and we never went to a commercial break, so let's use that as a spot to go to commercial, and then
we only have 2 matches left, so
yeah. But let's take a. I do want to air. I do want to. Hang on, Isaac. What's the state of things? We're on. Okay. So tell you what. After all of that shit.
Oh,
Ben, do you want to take a quick break for yourself?
I need a break. I need a sanity break. Jesus.
I think you need a cigarette, Ben.
Do you want me and Ray to comment on the next match while you take a breather?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
No,
you need a break?
Tell you what. I think we all need a break. We're going to take a quick little commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of the General Admission Wrestling Podcast Throwback for WCW Bash at the Beach 2000. Jeez, hallelujah. Holy shit. Where's the Tylenol?
Take a listen to our sponsors.
Death has set his mark and seal on all we are and all we feel, on all we know and all we fear. Death's yet to catch him, and so he's still here. Paul London in the all-new DGDX animation short film, A Bird in the Shadow, coming June 16th, 2017, to Amazon Instant Video, and you can watch it for free, only with Amazon Prime.
Can you dig it, sucker,
That's right, we are back with more of our discussion about Bash at the Beach 2000. Let's get into this.
Wow.
For those not in the know, actually, here's some good news I can say. Before we get back into things, let's do a quick little plug. What's funny is Booker T is going to be at House of Glory this month. If you didn't know.
And where's he gonna be, Ben?
For those who don't know, cut the music. We don't want to get a copyright strike.
I think that was less than 15 seconds. We're good.
Just watch.
Booker T will be at House of Glory Adrenaline Saturday, May 27th at the NYC Arena in Queens, New York. For more info, go to hogwrestling.net to get your tickets, and you can see Booker T in person.
You also see us, because all three of us will be there.
Yep, and you can come out that weekend to BCW HOG that weekend to help us celebrate this motherfucker's birthday.
Yay!
If you don't know, it is going to be Whole Milk Mike's birthday coming up soon.
It's going to be the weekend of Whole Milk. We'll be together Friday, Saturday. And we
Party
on,
on, man.
All right, I'm a little happier now. I'm a little calmer. Let's finish off this shit fest and let's get it up on the interwebs.
Ben, don't worry. 2 matches left.
2 matches left. Let's just get through this. Next up.
Match number 10. Kevin Nash versus Goldberg. Scott Hall's contract is on the line. If Nash loses, it's gone. Scott Hall is gone from WCW. The Wolfpack theme plays. We all like the Wolfpack theme, correct?
Yep.
So Nash comes out of his locker room. Scott Hall is busy fucking a woman in the hallway. Kevin, no comment. No comment for this.
What?
At this moment, Nash is like, why am I fighting for you again?
No, this is Scott Steiner.
Oh.
This is not Scott. This is Scott Steiner. After getting vacated of the title, the U.S. title, he's busy fucking his freak in the hall. So Kevin Nash tells him, "Come on, Scott. It's for Scott's contract." And Steiner's like, "You got it. Go." So Nash looks pissed, and that foreshadows the finish. So Nash comes out. He's all pissed off. Then Goldberg comes out. He's a heel, but still gets cheered as a babyface.
Yeah. It just what was even going on in this match? Like, why was his contract on the line?
Well, I'll give you a history lesson, Mr. Benjamin. Great American Bash. Kevin Nash versus Jeff Jarrett for the world title. Around that time, Vince Russo, your boy, was promising a big surprise. Because apparently he thought he grabbed one of the WWF guys. You want to hear who they thought they had?
Who?
The Undertaker. They thought they had The Undertaker under a contract.
Jesus Christ.
So that didn't go through, obviously. So what was the big announcement? Goldberg heel turn. Swerve, motherfuckers.
You just got swerved, motherfucker.
So Goldberg turns heel, and the reason for him doing that and turning on Kevin Nash is because the Outsiders were the reason he lost his streak. And he hated them from that day on. So he wants to get rid of the cancer that is the Outsiders. And by doing that, he wants to take out one of them and get him out of the company. There's your backstory.
Which is the one that electroshocked the shit out of him. So it's like,
Right.
I'll take him out because he tased me.
Is that good enough for you, Ben?
Yeah. So take us through it. What happens in this match, Mike?
So Goldberg gives the announcers the contract, and prior to this, the build-up, Goldberg was eating the contract.
What?
Like
So
literally,
they literally fought for nothing.
he was literally teasing Nash and tell him, "I'll see you at Bash at the Beach." Then he would put the contract in his mouth and start eating it. So you can see on the contract, it's like wrinkly, it's wet, because Goldberg. So Nash looks at it one final time, and then the match starts. How long did this match go, Ben? You have the time?
This match lasted, if I can get this right, 5 minutes and 30 seconds. My mistake, 5 minutes and 28 seconds.
Wow.
And this was the match they built up as the main event.
This was supposed to end the show.
This
was supposed to end the show.
And and remember when we said at the top of the show, they were saying, Scott Hall's contract, career or contract, at the top of the hour and all that stuff. And then, 5 minutes, done.
Yep. So basically, spear, jackknife, all that shit. Scott Steiner comes out. He turns heel. He turns heel on Kevin Nash. And then Goldberg hits him with the spear, pins him, and then he rips the contract in front of Kevin Nash while he's in the Steiner recliner. Where's Ernest the Cat Miller at home? He can't do that.
That was wow.
So, that was officially the end of Scott Hall's WCW career.
So 2 careers ended in one night.
Who was the other one?
Oh, Hogan.
Hogan, yeah. So 2/3 of 2 members of the original NWO gone in one night.
For most of you, you would think, okay, that's a good thing. No.
And you want to know a history lesson? This was the same arena that the NWO formed.
Wasn't it at Bash at the Beach?
Right. 2 years earlier.
Yeah.
It was in the same building, same event, and Jesus Christ.
When Hulk Hogan pulled the swerve, and he was the third man.
Thanks, Bobby, for blowing that one. So, you're probably wondering, how did Goldberg's heel turn run go? Well,
not very good.
You want to know what happened the next month? They promoted a triple threat. Nash, Steiner, and Goldberg. #1 contender for the world title. Goldberg no-showed. And then the famous promo of one of the announcer guys saying, Goldberg doesn't follow the script. Then we got Goldberg and Vince Russo, which immediately turns Goldberg face again.
Oh, God.
That just shows what the fucking state of this company was by this year. Would it amaze you to know that the year after this, WCW would be out of business?
No surprise, really.
No fucking surprise. And then was quickly bought up by WWE.
Ben, there was literally signs before this pay-per-view that this company was going out of business, but this was basically the hammer hitting the nail in the coffin.
Oh,
the sad part is that same year the Cruiserweight division actually started to get good. Yeah. AJ and all the guys that you would see in Impact years later.
But do you remember who they put the Cruiserweight title on before that? Medusa and a fat guy called Oklahoma, who was doing a JR parody.
Yeah, Vince Russo. If there's 3 things that Vince Russo hates in this world, it's...
Oh, God, here we go again.
It's math.
No.
It's math, people who flip, and women.
Okay, a future golf episode, just Ben ranting on Vince Russo. That's it, because, God.
Tell me how you'd book it better, bro. You'll appreciate this.
Ben, you know those articles that you like to write? I think I know which article you're gonna write about now.
How much I hate Vince Russo.
Vince Russo. Fuck you.
Imagine he's the nicest guy, though. That would be funny.
Let's bring this dumpster fire to a close with the main event. Booker T.
Mean Gene interviews Booker T. Booker T is shocked by what just happened earlier tonight. but says he'll seize the opportunity and win the WCW World Title. Good promo. Announcers Barry Hogan. Again. We get it. We get it. I was like, once they showed Tony Schiavone, he's like, what a night in our sport. Hulk Hogan, what a dick. It's like, shut up.
Stop
Please.
burying Hogan.
Booker T versus Jeff Jarrett for the World Heavyweight title. This was a really good main event.
Yes, of everything we can say is that Jeff Jarrett and Booker T put on a actually good match. Which after about 3 hours of this parade of bullshit, we needed something to soften the blow.
It was actual wrestling.
And Booker T and Jeff Jarrett are the greatest wrestlers at the time in the company. They were the best workers. And, and for God's sakes, Scott Hudson on commentary calls Hollywood Hulk Hogan Hollywood Scum Hogan.
We get it.
Then Mark Madden calls Booker T Stevie Ray.
Wow.
For fuck's sake.
Is there anything else of note to talk about this match?
Great bookend to end it.
Crowd brawling as usual, same as the U.S. title match. Jarrett hits a pile driver on Booker on the announce table that doesn't break, which must have sucked. Then
Japanese table.
So Jeff Jarrett grabs his guitar, goes to the top rope. He's ready to hit Booker with it. Comes down. Booker catches him with the bookend. 1, 2, 3. Booker T is your new WCW World Heavyweight Champion in what was a controversial, fucking abysmal pay-per-view.
In 3 hours, there was only 90 minutes of wrestling, and probably about, let's see, let me do the math here. 12 minutes.
1 hour of Mean Gene on TV.
Only about out of 3 hours of a wrestling show, only about 45 to 55 minutes of it was any good.
So, Booker T wins the WCW World Title for the first time. I was happy for him, really.
Yeah.
It was a good moment. That was actually something that saved the night.
Under this circumstance, though, it sucked. I wish he could have won it in a different way, and not because of Hollywood Scum Hogan, right, Scott Hudson?
Right, Scott Hudson.
Oh my God.
Okay, so
in conclusion, if we all had to rate this thing out of 10, what would you give it?
Ben, you go. What's your rating?
4.
4.
Mike, how about you?
I gave it a 5.5.
Too high!
Only because of the Booker Jarrett match, the Cruiserweight match, and the Buffin franchise match. Those were good matches, and then everything else was just like, eh.
I'll give it a decent 6.
Right.
Because it wasn't terrible. It's not the worst pay-per-view we've seen, but it wasn't getting to that 7, 8 that was like the best we've seen. It was right there. That's like it's leaning on mediocre, but it was still something. Again, thank you, Zach, for this nightmare.
Thanks, Zach.
You know what I was also thinking about, Ben? Do you want to know why they also chose Booker T for the World Heavyweight title?
Why?
There was a lawsuit going around at that time. Racial discrimination.
Oh.
Many African American and Japanese wrestlers, such as Sonny Ono, the Harlem Heat guys, Kaz Hayashi, but I think of like 2000, and you just see them, you're like, oh, lawsuit. Like Prince Ikea. They sued the company because of their skin tone and their ethnicity. So what did WCW do to please them? They gave the title to Booker.
So they gave Booker the title. The Latinos opened the show. Okay.
Yep.
We get
and
it.
And if you're probably wondering, what was the original plan that Vince Russo claims was going to happen? He wanted Booker and Jarrett to main event the pay-per-view from the beginning. But Hogan threw in his creative clause and said he's going to fight for the title. Russo's like, fine. But he's not walking out with the belt. So they did that whole swerve bullshit. That was all planned, except for the promo part that Vince Russo cut on Hogan, because Hogan didn't know about that, and Eric Bischoff as well. And what was supposed to happen was Hogan was supposed to come back the following month with his world title and face Booker in a unification match. You see why that didn't happen?
Yeah, I can hazard a fucking guess.
Because of the promo.
Because of that promo. Because
I'm kind of glad it didn't, because that would have ruined this.
You know who would have won that? It was going to be Hogan.
Well, whoever won, we fucking lose.
Even Russo said that Hogan, once he was pitching the idea, Hogan's eyes just lit up. He was just like, I'm going to be better. It's like, Russo's just sitting there. It's like, yeah, you think you are.
Wait a second. Isn't it kind of... Oh, God, I just thought about this. Jeff Jarrett was a part of the way to get Hulk Hogan out of booking himself to win, correct?
Correct.
Why did Jeff Jarrett do it years later in TNA? That he made himself win the NWA TNA World title about 6 different occasions.
I guess
same kind of booking.
I guess Jarrett wanted everybody to forget about the WCW thing, and he wanted to please himself. He wanted that.
Is it that, or he wanted to see how it felt, and then when someone finally took the power from him, he saw how much of an asshole that gimmick is.
By the way, was it weird for you guys seeing Jeff Jarrett with the world title?
Actually, no. Because he's always been a good wrestler. So it's like,
It really all depends upon whether or not you're a fan of the guy, I guess.
But, it's Jeff Jarrett. Did you think he deserved that spot at the time as, one of the top heels?
Not really. But, they probably went with him out of necessity.
I guess, yeah. And because he also was friends with Russo, so I guess that would help him.
Yeah, and the minute Jeff Jarrett didn't Jeff Jarrett get fired from WWF, and then the minute they got bought up, he ran to WCW, and then the minute WCW got bought by WWF, he was fired.
Yeah, Vince even did the promo. He's like,
half is that right? That's right.
Vince did the promo,
and then on TV he was like,
Jeff
I was thinking that we'd spell Jeff Jarrett's name a little different after tonight. Double G. Double O, double N, double E. Gone.
Where's King Ross to say, that is not how you spell gone. It's just G-O-N-E.
And GAWP is the name of the show you've been listening to, and we want to thank all of you who have tuned in to this brand new format and who have sat with us through the recounting of one of the most vile, horrible things we've ever watched.
I hope you guys aren't gone.
Ben, in your eyes, vile.
Vile.
This was just bullshit.
We are sorry this is the first media you have to listen to, but more will come.
I feel for the new people that are just found us and listening, they're like, Jesus Christ, what is wrong with these people?
Yeah.
They're like,
Ray, I apologize. I cut you off. What did you want to say?
No, I'm saying this is the worst kind of thing to open our YouTube channel with, but hey, more videos will come.
Hey, after hearing Ben rant about Vince Russo, God knows what's next to come. God only knows.
Like we said, who knows? Vince Russo may show up one day.
But Ben, where can these fine, loving people find us?
Yep.
Well, obviously, if you're watching us on the YouTube, you find us here, but you can also find us at the General Admission Wrestling Podcast Facebook page. You type it like it's spelled, General Admission Wrestling Podcast on Facebook. And you can find us on the Twitters and the Instagrams at the GAWP Show. Once again, for those of the cheap seats, it's the GAWP Show for Twitter and Instagram. Mike, if they want to download the backlog of our episodes and listen to them on their audio devices, where can they find them?
You can find them on iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, and Podtastic.
Every Friday, free audio for your free listening for your ears. So once again, everybody, I am Avenging Ben.
Whole Milk Mike.
And I am the Law Ray Raimundo.
Don't
forget to follow the law.
And thank you all for tuning in to episode 2 of GAWP Throwback. Sorry about the audio difficulties in the middle, but what are you going to do? And thank you for listening to probably one of the most angry rants I've ever gone on. We'll be back tomorrow night for a more classic and traditional episode. And as Whole Milk, and don't forget, as Whole Milk Mike says best,
join the madness.
Slap nuts.
Also, for the people that are watching on YouTube, leave in the comments, what pay-per-view would you like us to review next on the next GAWP Throwback?
No more WCW shows.
More
Please,
WCW. More WCW. I want to hear that rant.
ECW. Oh, God.